She was at the center of the Solheim Cup controversy in 2015, and now Suzanne Pettersson is in all the headlines today for the fact that she'll now be on the sidelines for this week's showdown in Des Moines with a back injury. Taking her spot, 47-year-old Katrina Matthew was slated to be an assistant captain for Team Europe this week. Now she's grabbing her sticks and trying to help the European squad pull off an upset. Wow, the PGA Tour's also got its fair share of drama at the Wyndham Championship, the final regular season event for guys to make the top 125. We're going to hear from some of the big-name bubble boys. That's all coming at you next on Golf Central.
Golf Central, brought to you by Titleist.
Thanks for joining us this evening on Golf Central. I'm George Savarickas. It's like a scene out of a movie. One of the star players goes out with an injury, and it's a coach of all people who tries to come in and save the day. That's what's happening with Team Europe right now at the Solheim Cup. We'll get to that in just a moment. As we have our team in Des Moines, Iowa. It's Lisa Cornwell and Karin Koch setting the scene. We have Todd Lewis covering this week's PGA Tour regular season finale, the Wyndham Championship. But we start with our reporter Chantel McCabe, who's been covering the Suzanne Pettersson decision to withdraw from the Solheim Cup all day. Chantel, what's the latest?
Well, George, you set it up perfectly. The biggest news of the day, major news here at the Solheim Cup in Des Moines, Iowa, Suzanne Pettersson not playing. She was going to be the most experienced player for Team Europe in the Solheim Cup, but about a week ago, she tweaked her back and injured it while out for a run. She was supposed to fly to the States on Sunday, but couldn't even fly out until Monday. Yesterday, she had a very light practice and was only putting. Today, she didn't practice at all, and it was announced that a veteran of the Solheim Cup in Team Europe would take her place, the assistant coach, Katrina Matthew.
I kind of felt there was a slight chance that I was going to be able to make it. I've been through this before. Sometimes it takes shorter time, other times it could take a little bit longer time before the kind of worst kind of slightly goes away. And the best thing I can do is to rest, but I told her I'll do everything in my power to kind of push it and see how fast I can kind of heal up, at least to be able to tee it up. But if I can't be 100%, it's not fair, and it's obviously, like I told Annika, I have to be honest. If I can't represent the team with all my energy, I'd rather send Beanie out, who's like healthy, ready to go. And it was a tough call, but I think it's also the right call for the team. I tried to push a little bit extra yesterday. I was in the pool trying to kind of push it. I know it's not what I'm supposed to do, but I had to try and put some stress on it to see how it reacted, if it kind of calmed down or if it actually acted up. Last night I got really sore again, which was not a good sign. I woke up and it was still very sore. And my plan was to go out there this morning, warm up, try and hit some, see how it felt. If it felt okay, maybe to try and play some holes. Obviously not the ideal preparation either, as you kind of prepare for an event like this. But after discussions with the physios, with Annika this morning in the locker room, I think it was about time to kind of make the call, not just for myself and for my own head, but for the rest of the team to kind of settle in and kind of know who's going to play, and also for Annika to kind of get going with her pairings and her plans.
So Pettersson will now serve as the assistant captain. She said she's still going to bring that competitive and fiery nature to the team. She even joked with Annika Sorenstam that she's going to be in her ear on the headset and probably will want to be muted because she's going to be talking to the team so much. Now, Pettersson's record in Solheim Cup is 16-11-6, but this is a swap of experience. When it comes to Matthew, who had a full practice yesterday and today, she's played on 8 different Solheim Cup teams with a 15-10-8 record. And today, obviously, for Team Europe, there was a lot of shuffling happening.
It has been a strange week. I had got my mind into, I was going to be vice captain and was really looking forward to that role. And then got the call, just before I flew that, Suzanne was potentially perhaps not going to be able to play with her back. And, you kind of come here the first few days, you're not sure, Suzanne arrives, and, we wanted to give her as long as possible. So, it was great that Julie let, me play the golf course yesterday, gave Suzanne, an extra day to, hopefully get in shape. And, obviously, upset for her that she's not been able to play this week, but I mean, delighted for myself, but nice that, you know, Suzanne's going to be the vice captain. Sure, not what she really wanted, but you know, we're all still there in the team, which is the main thing.
It's been a lot of juggling, to put it mildly. I mean, I was just glad that Suzanne called me on Saturday. You know, I had a plan, I called it Plan A, and then we started a Plan B. Needless to say, we've had a lot of plans back and forth, and when Suzanne and I spoke this morning, I kind of threw out Plan A, and now we're sticking to Plan B. So, but it's been a lot of versions. We kind of make fun of it in the room. Which version are you sending this time? So hopefully this is it.
Matthew decided to use Suzanne Pettersson's caddy. Matthew already had her clubs and her coach here, so that was the good news that as far as the reshuffling goes. It didn't take too much extra work, and like I had mentioned, Matthew had already been practicing yesterday and today, so the team feels comfortable slating her in, especially with all that experience. But boy, a lot of changes already for Team Europe as we send it over to Lisa.
Certainly have been, Chantel. Thankfully for Karin Koch, she did not have to deal with that as the European captain in 2015. Look, this is obviously a huge blow, even though, as Chantel mentioned, Katrina Matthews' record is impeccable in this. She's fantastic. She's been in 8 Solheim Cup appearances. But as far as Suzanne's concerned, she's still going to be a vice captain. How big of a blow is this for the Europeans?
I mean, they've lost one of their best players, one of their most competitive Solheim Cup players. It's tough. It would be tough on any team at any stage, you know, or any time. So it's tough. The team knew about it early, which I think is very good. They've gotten used to the thought. Katrina knew about it. And, you know, as far as the captain, I'm very happy I didn't have to deal with it because it changes so much. The first 2 days we talked about yesterday, it's so tough with all the planning, all the, you know, the way the team gets together. So that's going to change everything. Like Annika, we heard Annika say, she's now at her Plan B, and it's you know, a lot of changes.
Do you think Suzanne's role? Look, she's going from playing to a vice captain, but her role, the way that she communicates with the team, will that remain the same?
Definitely. You know, she might be able, or she will be even able to communicate more now, be around more of the team, and she's going to give so much energy. And sometimes in these things happen, you know, the team even comes together more, and they want to play for her now. They want to, you know, make it even better week. So you never know. I mean, but still, they're losing, you know, one of the best players.
Katrina, as we mentioned, very successful in the Solheim Cup, but she has a very different personality from Suzanne from a pairings perspective, and we heard Annika talk about Plan A, B. I'm sure it probably went down to Plan S, knowing Annika, but how much does that change how she puts these players together?
No, it changes a lot. The good thing with Katrina, knowing from playing with her, I've played with her, I've captained her, she's so easygoing. You know, we can see it on the course, her, you know, personality, and she plays with everybody, and she's often played with rookies, so I wouldn't be surprised if she's out there with a couple of the rookies. She can make anybody feel comfortable on the course. She always seems comfortable, and it's a great replacement.
She was out there early with the team practicing. We saw them on the range. The Americans were out very early. The Junior Solheim Cup was taking place. So the professionals were out there as well, trying to get in their reps. Let's take a look at how the practice schedule went and exactly how each side was put together in terms of the Americans and the Europeans. Let's start with the European side. You can see a lot of the veterans here, but then you throw in Pettersson in that first group. Saganda, Ishii, they've all been here. Masson. The next group, again, Nordquist, she has been sort of a backbone of this European side.
But she has been, but she's also a little bit hurt at the moment. Or she's not hurt, but she's been sick. So hopefully she can play 36 holes.
And as far as the U.S. groupings, they were a little smaller. You can see Austin Ernst and Paula Creamer together. Creamer, a veteran, and Austin, a first-timer, and then a couple more rookies in Ying and Kang. Wee and Salas. I love this one, Lexi Thompson and Christy Kerr. To me, that's a pretty big statement.
Yeah, that's a good group there together.
And then, of course, you have Stacey Lewis, Jarena, Brittany Lang, and Brittany Lincecum, all very veterans of this event. For more on the Americans, let's send it back down to Chantel.
Yes, Lisa, thank you. Well, also some concerns for Team USA. Lexi Thompson has been suffering from a sore throat and a little bit of a virus. Yesterday, Captain Julie Inkster for Team USA said that she was worried if Lexi would be ready to go come Friday. Of course, Lexi playing a ton of events, constant travel. She has felt under the weather about a month ago, but yesterday she had a full practice and today she did as well. She was the first person on the range and we stopped her and asked her about the status of her health. She says she's gotten a lot better and will be ready to go on Friday. Now, switching gears to the rookies. For Team USA, they have 3 on the squad this year, but being on home soil, playing in an event like this that happens only every 2 years and every 4 years on home territory, it can be a totally nerve-wracking and overwhelming experience, especially with the record-setting crowds they're expecting. And even today during the practice rounds, people were in full force with the flags and the colors flying. Getting up to the first tee can be a very overwhelming experience, but the rookies talked today about handling those nerves.
It's definitely exciting to be here. What I'm looking forward to is the vibe that I get, that everyone talks about, that experience that they have at Solheim. The first tee experience, the fan vibe, everything that's supposedly really amazing about Solheim. I haven't experienced this. I'm really excited to be a part of it on the week, when the tournament starts. So I can't wait for the singings to happen because I haven't heard any songs yet. So I really want to be, I can't wait for that to happen, for me to experience what everyone talks about.
People ask me, oh, what are you going to feel? But I don't know. Because right now, there's not as many people on the first tee. There's people, we're practicing. When we see people in the bleachers, we make them scream. We try to get that feeling, but when we're on the first tee, it's going to be completely different. After Friday, I'll tell you. You find me, I'll tell you. I'll tell you how I feel.
Everybody's told me that, you've never faced nerves like we'll face. So I don't really know what to expect. You try to think of, I try to think of the most nervous I've ever been, and I guess it multiply that by 10. But I won't know what it's like until I get there on Friday. Everybody's told me kind of what to expect and kind of how to deal with it. But I kind of know what works for me when I get nervous, and so I'll do that, and then I'll see what they say too.
You could hear it a little bit in their interviews, but Team USA is noticeably calm and relaxed, especially those rookies. I actually talked to Danielle Kang, who didn't just win her first win on the LPGA Tour this year. It was her first major at the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. She said she wanted to be on this team so bad that 2 years ago, she couldn't even watch. So she is excited to not just play with her friends, but be able to represent Team USA come Friday. A lot of emotions, a lot of nerves, but certainly a very exciting time for all of these ladies as we send it back to George.
All righty, thank you, Chantel. Joined by Golf Channel analyst Amanda Blumenhurst, and one of the duos could be a pair of rookies. It seems like they might need some adult supervision. You have Angel Yin and Danielle Kang, and we thought maybe Danielle would be with Michelle Wie, but it looks like those two are going to be together come Friday. What do you make of this?
I'm actually a little surprised. Julie Inkster seems to have a few tricks up her sleeve that we really wouldn't predict, but they have very similar personalities. We saw in the news conference that they were laughing with each other, they were joking with each other, and they did not seem as nervous as Austin Ernst. So she's going to have a very different rookie experience, it seems, from Angel and Danielle. She's saying this is going to be most nervous, and the other two girls are, I can't wait. I want to hear the songs and the chanting. So personality-wise, I do like their matchup. And then playing-wise, too, they are different in the fact that Angel is a bomber off the tee. She hits at 272 yards, where Danielle hits at 251, which is very respectable, but Angel is the longest hitter on the team, just shy of Lexi Thompson. And the driving accuracies are a little bit different as well, 61% with Angel and 77% Danielle. Putting is going to be similar, and then greens and regulation, Danielle's got her a little bit of a foot up. So alternate shot is going to be a little bit of a, I'm not going to say challenge, but they're going to have to adjust their games because one hits it so much farther, is not going to be used to those long irons into the holes, and then Danielle is going to be the opposite. She's going to be getting all these short wedges. So alternate shot's going to be a little bit different, but really in this environment, it's all about personality. It's who's going to work well with each other, because you really are still playing golf, which is an individual sport, and you need to still hit those good shots. So if they're comfortable with each other, that's going to be so. It's going to be great for match play, with that match play setting against Team Europe.
Well, we can see if that comfort level on the podium transfers over to a comfort level on the course at Des Moines Country Club and on the first tee. And remember, it was just 2 years ago Danielle Kang said she didn't watch. Angel Yin was only 16, seeing the Americans pull off the biggest comeback in Solheim Cup history, down 10-6. Going into Sunday, they shocked the Europeans in Germany. You can catch beginning coverage of the Solheim Cup Friday, 9 a.m. on Golf Channel, continuing Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern on NBC. The party is just getting started tonight. Michelle Wie opens up on what motivated her most to turn her game around in 2017. Plus, it's a major week for a major champion. Why the pressure is on Jeff Ogilvy in Greensboro. And Tripp tells you who has the edge to play his way into the top 125 to secure a tee time in next week's FedEx Cup playoffs. This is Golf Central.
Golf Central is brought to you by the new Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. Choose the best for your game. Comcast Business, built for business.